Hello everyone, I'm Mr.X, the hunter in these videos, and today I will be narrating the Stormstout Brewery run we did. So, are you ready for some monkeying around? Well, do I have a treat for you? The first pull, which is one massive continuous pull up to the first boss, here's what we did. We run in, pull the first two monkeys, then run to the second room, while still hiding the first two monkeys. Then we pull the three monkeys in that room. Usually I put a frost trap or an ice trap down at the bottom of the stairs to slow the monkeys down as they go up the stairs. And then as they traverse the room with the sleeping monkeys, you can attack the barrels, making them explode and damaging those monkeys. We found that often a little bit too tricky as it was hitting our group members and stunning them, which is obviously not advised. So we just continued on running, ignoring those things. We go past the knife-fighting monkeys and then into the boss room. This is where you see a ton of monkeys doing stuff, lots and lots of trash. So at this point we just pull everything we can. And as a tank you're going to want to kite around in circles, trying not to get hit by the unsurmountable amount of monkeys running around, as you will probably die. So slowing them down should help a lot. I put down my frost trap, I think. And then what all the other group members do is try to get on top of barrels and run those barrels into the large number of monkeys running around. This should damage them quite a bit, and I think it even applies a debuff where they take more damage. Do be wary where the barrels spawn though, as they can just drop right on top of you and you will get hit for around 200k. So that's not advised. After 40 monkeys are dead, the boss should drop down. The boss is fairly easy. What you do is just get on as many barrels as you can and hit them with it. The more barrels you hit him with, the more stacks he gets of this debuff, where he takes more and more damage, making him take more damage, and then the fight just goes faster and faster. This is pretty good for your time. You just want to hit him with many barrels as possible. After that, your healer can probably take a drink after the boss is dead, while everyone else groups up and get ready to run the gauntlet of vermin to the next boss. I would advise sticking together here. You don't want to have anyone falling behind and getting hit by the explosions. Maybe use a group speed boost if possible, so you have everyone running fast to the next room. And get past all the exploding vermin. They'll just jump in place for a few seconds and then explode. This is why you don't want anyone falling behind and getting caught by the explosion. Then you get into the boss room, and you probably want a line of sight around the corner so they all come to you in one big clump. Killing all of this trash may drop a bunch of hammers that you can pick up and use for the boss fight to crowd control the vermin that come. I think walking into the middle of the room or at the end of the room will trigger the boss. I'm not sure which, but make sure everyone's in the room when that happens because it closes the doors. This boss can hurt a lot if you get hit by his abilities, such as Whirlwind and Carrot Breath, but for the most part they're fairly easy to avoid. The Whirlwind, someone gets targeted and he'll run towards them, so if you know who it is, it's pretty easy to avoid that. And the Carrot Breath always goes in a circle, so you can avoid that as well fairly easily. And then when all the vermin come down, if you have a hammer, click your hammer, they'll get thrown up in the air, and it's fairly simple to deal with them. After the boss is dead, your healer can probably drink again, while the vermin takes the carrot and opens the door to the next part. After that you run down the ramp and kill the elemental there. You want to open the door, and inside the room is where you're going to skip one of the trash pulls. It is possible to completely skip them without using any potions with the right timing, but we've never actually managed to do this correctly. We've always pulled it by accident, so I would just suggest using your invisibility potion and running up the ramp. If you do it correctly without using your invisibility potion, you can save a DPS potion for the last boss, which is very, very useful, but we had no luck and we needed to use the invisibility potion, and it still worked out. Here we pull the two adds in front of the boss room and pull them into the boss room to trigger the trash spawns. Then we try and group everything we have together to maximize cleave and AoE damage. After that group is dead, we all run behind a pillar to line of sight the next group of adds that's going to spawn. Usually you want to do it at the pillar that's parallel to the middle of the boss room, and then you have one person run out, taunt one of them, and then run back behind the pillar, and all of the adds should come and coalesce on top of everyone. Why you do this is to increase the damage your AoE does, because it hits all of them. So maximizing your AoE, and also it makes it easier to deal with their healing ability. They often target another elemental and cast a little stream of brew and it'll heal the other elemental. You can interrupt this by standing in the stream and it'll heal you instead of the elemental. After those are dead, we run back into the middle of the room and deal with the 4 ads that spawn. These guys will occasionally drop a patch on the ground that is very damaging when standing in it, so that's not advised. You might want to kite them around as they drop it. Right as that group is about to die, this is where your healer is getting ready to switch specs and gear to a DPS spec, so we can all easily more damage the boss. The boss is actually pretty easy on healing, which is why we have our healer switch to DPS, and also the timer at this point is very strict. And there's also a sort of soft enrage timer as the fight goes on, as the boss will spawn more and more small elementals that will heal him, and eventually you won't have enough people to interrupt all the healing streams. So if you can bypass that by doing a lot of DPS, then that's what we chose to do. The other 2 abilities you have to deal for this boss is Bloat, which knockbacks your allies on either side of you when you're affected, as well as the 2 ale waves that come across the room. Do your best to jump over those, as if you get hit by them you get stunned and lose a lot of DPS uptime. Speaking of DPS, I personally saved all of my DPS cooldowns for this boss fight to push out as much DPS as possible, to try and just push through all of his mechanics, because if the fight lasts more than a minute, it gets kind of crazy with all the healing and stuff, and you probably would not beat the timer at that point. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to watch the full run we did with the TeamSpeak audio and unedited completed run, you can click on it right now. The one we just did is Shadowpan Monastery. And if you click on the other ones, those ones will take you to the other dungeons I've narrated. Alright, thank you very much for watching and do take care.